Hello, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Reverend Zachary Vinzen, and I'm the minister here at Cedars Unitarian Universalist Church. This service marks an important milestone for two young adults in our church community. As part of this service, we are celebrating the milestone of graduation from high school for Miranda Schmidt and Max McRae. As part of this service, you'll have a chance to hear reflections from members of this community, as well as to see photos of their grads and to witness a blessing that their moms offer them, as well as to hear some music, a time for prayer, and a story for all of us. We hope that this is a time of celebration and reflection, a time that invites you to pause and to think about those own threshold moments that you might be facing in your life, whether graduation or something else. We all have these moments of transition, of change. And so we invite you to use this space to make meaning of those. But before we get to that, let us pause to acknowledge that members of our congregation occupy the ancestral, territorial, and contemporary lands of the Coast Salish tribes, the homelands of the Suquamish, Duwamish, Klallam, and Chimicum people were ceded under duress through the Point Elliott and Point No Point treaties. We are grateful guests on these lands and affirm indigenous sovereignty, both past and present. This acknowledgement does not substitute the need to build authentic relationships with modern-day members of these tribes and to learn about their living culture and history. Beyond this, I want to remind you that Cedars is sustained through the financial generosity of our members and friends. Your contributions help to nourish the spiritual growth of our community, growth that takes place through weekly worship and ongoing programs that seek to cultivate a sense of belonging. Displayed on the screen is information to make a contribution to Cedars through our PayPal account. Please take time, either now or later during the service, to make a contribution to help sustain Cedars. As always, your gifts are greatly appreciated. And one final thing to share with all of you before we light the flame of our chalice. For those of you who are viewing this service on Sunday, June 6th, please remember that we have a congregational meeting following our 10 a.m. service premiere. To join this meeting, please see the latest edition of the Cedars newsletter, The Beacon. We hope that all of you will join as we join together to tend to the business of our congregation. And with that said, I now invite you to join together as we kindle the flame of our chalice.
As we come together to worship, we remind ourselves to treat all people kindly because we are one family, to take good care of the earth because it is our home, and to live lives full of love and goodness because that is how we will all become the best that we can be.
With First, I want to say congratulations to our graduating seniors. Now, in any year, the tradition of graduation is one filled with pride, maybe a little trepidation, and ownership of all the hard work and joy leading up to this time-honored tradition. Now, for most students, it's a moment of pause and a time to reflect on the many experiences that people, the teachers, mentors, and peers that have helped guide them along the way. Now, as a parent, I watched my own sons make this journey in their own ways. The pathway for each was different, though the end goal was the same. Now, this has also been true for them in life, as it's true for all of us. There are 1,000 different roads to take on the journey of life, some smoother than others, all of them navigable in one way or another. Now, as associate principal at Bainbridge High School, I see the same thing up there. The truth is, no two students have the same strengths, challenges, fears, or confidences. Each person owns his or her own personal journey, and while we as adults can seek to stand beside our kids and share with them our own wisdom and experience, we cannot truly stand in their shoes and see things exactly as they see them. It's their journey and theirs alone, just as ours has been unique to us. As a loving ally, sometimes the hardest thing to do is to step back and watch as they take the pathway that calls for them, even if it's not the pathway that we would have taken ourselves. Now, this year has really complicated this journey unlike any other. At the high school, we've asked our kids and families to place their trust in us as we've pivoted with every unexpected roadblock that's been thrown in our way. Now, throughout, we've been amazed at the way both the kids and the families have readjusted when needed, no matter how crazy and unfair things might have seemed. We also understand that so much of the tradition and cultural norms that many of us have been able to enjoy as graduating seniors in the past, things like homecoming and school-wide assemblies, prom, even just hanging out with your friends at lunchtime in the cafeteria, have not happened for them. It might seem silly to focus on these challenges over the real challenges happening in the world, even locally with the remote learning and condensed curriculum in the schools. But in the mind of an adolescent and a young adult, those social norms carry so much more weight than the academic. And if you think about it, it does the same for us. How many of us have longed for a hug from a loved one or an intimate gathering of our best friends around a cafe table, feeling the pain of this absence far more than the need to go into the office in person and work from our own desk? It's true that the heart is a complex, needy thing. With that, I want to say again, congratulations to our graduating seniors. Your resilience, wisdom, and character have pulled you through this most challenging of years, and I don't think I'd be exaggerating if I suggested that you may well find that you've built real strengths from this, skills that will serve you in the years to come. You've no doubt learned that with love and support, you can overcome significant adversity. That diligence and faith, and even allowing yourself the occasional breakdown, provides you with the resolve to continue down that path, no matter how dark, complex, and taxing it may be. Life will present you with things that at first glance seem insurmountable, but you've already climbed one of the highest peaks you'll ever climb. You can do this.
I want to tell you a story today in honor of our seniors who are graduating from high school, and also for anyone else who finds themselves sometimes getting advice that they didn't ask for. And this is a story about Nasruddin. Now, there are hundreds and hundreds of Nasruddin stories. In fact, I've told a Nasruddin story before about Nasruddin and his very hungry coat. And Nasruddin stories are designed to, well, maybe teach us something, but also make us laugh. So I hope this does one or the other for you. And this is a story about Nasruddin and his young son and their donkey as they go off on a journey into town to trade. And so Nasruddin and his son start off walking beside their donkey, who is carrying the things they want to take to town. And Nasrudin and his son pass a group of people standing on the side of the road. And the group of people look at Nasrudin and they say, "Oh my goodness, man, you have a donkey and you're making your son walk? What a terrible, terrible father you are." Nasrudin is hurt by this criticism, and he thinks maybe they're right. And so he stops the donkey and he has his son climb on the donkey, and he takes the reins of the donkey and they walk along with his son on the donkey and Nasrudin walking as they carry on into town. And as they travel, they pass a second group of people. And this group of people take one look at Nasrudin and his son and they say, "Oh, my goodness, look at that ungrateful son. His poor old father has to walk alongside the donkey, and he gets to sit without having to do any work. I feel so bad for the father." Well, Nasrudin thinks, well, okay. And so he has his son get down off the donkey, and he gets up on the donkey, and they carry on down the road into town. And as they go, they pass a third group of people. And this group of people laughs and says, "Look at this big, strong donkey this man has, and yet he makes his son walk. That donkey could certainly carry 2 people." Nasrudin thinks, well, all right, maybe they have a point, and he invites his son up to sit on behind him on the donkey. And so Nasrudin and his son and the donkey carry on with nobody walking and the donkey carrying both of them. And they go on for a while. It's a long way into town. There's a lot of opportunity for feedback. And so they pass a fourth group of people. And this group of people take one look at Nasrudin and their son and the donkey, and they say, "Oh, that poor, poor donkey. Can you believe that man putting all of that weight on the back of the donkey? He's a terrible person." Nasrudin sighs, a big sigh, and so he and his son get down off of the donkey. And Nasrudin thinks, the poor donkey. And so Nasrudin gets some rope out of the bags, and he and his son carefully, this is not easy, but they use the rope to tie the donkey to Nasrudin's back. It's the only solution they can think of that won't annoy people or invite feedback. And so after some time, the donkey is heavy and isn't really used to riding on someone's back. They get the donkey strapped to Nasrudin's back, and they carry on their way. And they pass yet another group of people who doesn't say anything. They just begin to laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. And Nasrudin thinks, you're right, this is ridiculous. And so he very carefully takes the donkey off of his back, and Nasrudin and his son once again walk along next to the donkey into town to do some trade. And so, that is my story. Learn from it, laugh from it as you will.
Rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. I met Max McRae earlier this year. I was looking for help with recording the virtual services, and I learned from Max's mom, Deb, that Max had some video experience. Of course, I had to pounce on that. I was super impressed that Max watched tutorials to learn about the camera. He showed up on time each week to help set up and to record Reverend Zachary and the worship associates. He became part of our Cedars tech team. Max already had some video editing experience, but he learned some new software, the one that we're using for the services, and he has done a spectacular job cutting. I am just super impressed with him, for one, because he shows up. He delivers on time, he asks relevant questions, and every time he has said thank you. Max will be going to Western Washington University in the fall, and I hope he'll pursue his interest in editing. I'm really glad he'll be around over the summer to help edit the virtual services. Congratulations, Max, on graduating high school. I'm so grateful for all you've given to the Cedars community, and I'm so glad I know you.
Time runs like a river through the seasons of my life. Time plays my heart like a bowstring. Time sings my song like water over stone, like water over stone. It shapes my soul. Water over stone, it shapes my soul. Like mist on the mountain at the dawn of day. Like a photograph in soft focus. Time blurs the edges of my memory, softens and sings a hopeful song. Softens and sings a hopeful song. Roll with the river, roll with the sea. Tides and seasons come and go. I can say I love you because that's the way I feel. Can't say I'll never need to let you go. Time turns the pages on the story of my life, offers a variety of endings. Time reaches out from what was to what will be, forms a circle of eternity. Forms a circle of eternity. Time runs like a river through the seasons of my life.
Good morning. My name is Jeff Phillip, and I've been a youth advisor at Cedars for many years. I've had the honor of being one of Miranda's youth group advisors for the past 4 years. Working with Unitarian Universalist youth has been one of my most rewarding experiences. Miranda's youth group has been one of the highlights. We've lent money to people in need around the world through the Kiva Loan program. We've explored other faith traditions, and we have developed a better understanding of Unitarian Universalist values and principles. Miranda has been a wonderful part of our youth program. We were even able to attend General Assembly in Spokane 2 years ago. where she was able to connect with youth from all around the country. Miranda, you're a strong, thoughtful, wonderful person. I think that the experiences of our children and youth are fundamental to the hopes derived from our Unitarian Universalist faith. And the credit for raising such a wonderful young UU woman must go to those who gave her the experience at Cedars: her father Chris, her mother Carrie, and stepdad Rick. As parents, you cared enough about her development to bring her to a community like Cedars where she could explore and grow and bond. Now, Miranda, you're embarking on a new journey as a young adult, and I'm sure that your experiences here will guide you as you move forward. I want to encourage our whole Cedars community to make sure that we always have a place for Miranda as a young adult, and for all young adults. I think that's part of our mission, to create a place where people of all ages can find community. And it's up to us to create an environment that embraces the unique time in a young adult's life. So Miranda, I'm very proud of you, and know that you will be successful wherever you go. And wherever you go, know that you will have a place here where we will embrace you each time you return.
This spring, in my humanities class at BHS, we were asked to write credos, a statement of our personal beliefs or values, and share them with our class. I would like to share mine with all of you. I was raised in a Unitarian Universalist, or UU, church. I realize that most of you have no idea what that means. This has been the case my entire life. As I grew up, my friends would ask me if I went to church, and when I said yes, they had a specific idea of what that looked like. As I got older, I found that a quick elevator speech was the easiest way to avoid assumptions about my religious identity. I would often sum up what it means to be a UU by saying that I went to church with a congregation that shares 7 core values. I would explain that there are Jews, Buddhists, Christians, atheists, and everything in between who go to my church. Being UU isn't mutually exclusive. This was usually where my friends would get lost. They were confused on how it was possible that I could go to church with people that had different ideas about God than me. In short, it's possible because one of our 7 founding principles is a belief in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. This means that UUs believe that everyone should have a chance to explore what they believe, free from the influence of others. As a child, I didn't understand what made this principle so special, but I am now able to recognize how much this value has impacted who I am today. Growing up, my religious education included a variety of religious speakers coming and explaining their beliefs to all of the kids. The variety of speakers were there both to help us learn about other religions and to help us explore our own beliefs. There was one Sunday when I was in 4th grade when a Wiccan came to speak to us. Even though I was only 10, I was immediately intrigued. While it could probably be attributed to my obsession with the Hex Girls from Scooby-Doo, I was really excited about the idea of learning to worship nature. It was the first time in my life that I remember feeling spiritual. One of the things I love most about being raised UU is that my parents supported me wholeheartedly. My mom saw a 10-year-old girl interested in exploring her spirituality and took it upon herself to help me. She helped me build an altar and find ways to connect with nature. She even took me incense shopping. Even though my interest in becoming Wiccan didn't last much longer than a year, I felt completely free from a young age to explore my religious beliefs. My brother was able to utilize this principle in a different way. He identified as an atheist from a young age, but continued to love to go to church all the way through high school. Church was a place for him to have conversations about important topics with people that he knew shared his values, even after he understood his own beliefs. There are 6 sources that are recognized by UUs as places from which we draw our ideas about the world. They range from the sense of wonder we share to the ethical and spiritual wisdom of the world religions and the use of reason and scientific discoveries. Because the sources vary so much, there is a lot of room for questioning. Not only that, but questioning is encouraged, even though there are rarely clear answers. This idea of questioning is seen throughout many of the texts we have read in this class. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna questioned his faith when he was set to fight against his cousins. In the book of Job, Job questioned God after so much was taken from him when he did nothing wrong. A lot of the conversations we have in humanities remind me of conversations I've had growing up in a UU church, because in this class we use many different texts as lenses through which we can look at the world. I believe that by having freedom to explore for yourself what you believe, no matter how old you are, you will be able to find your values more meaningful. You don't need to be UU to do this. Even just in taking this class, you have an opportunity to look inward and explore your beliefs deeper. It's important to continue to ask questions of the world, even if there are no concrete answers. I love that I can have a religious identity and explore deeper what I truly believe at the same time. I will always identify as a Unitarian Universalist, but because I have been raised with this principle, I feel free to continue to explore my spirituality, however long that takes.
Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we going?
As a blessing to our graduates and the rest of us gathered, I offer these words by John O'Donohue. Every time you leave home, another road takes you into a world where you never were. New strangers on other paths await. New places that have never seen you will startle a little at your entry. Old places that know you well will pretend nothing changed since your last visit. When you travel, you find yourself alone in a different way, more attentive now to the self you bring along, your more subtle eye watching you abroad, and how what meets you touches that part of your heart that lies low at home. How you unexpectedly attune to the timbre in some voice, opening in conversation you want to take in, to where your longing has pressed hard enough inward on some unsaid dark to create a crystal of insight you could have not known you needed to illuminate your way. When you travel, a new silence goes with you. And if you listen, you will hear what your heart would love to say. A journey can become a sacred thing. Make sure before you go to take the time to bless your going forth, to free your heart of ballast so that the compass of your soul might direct you toward the territories of spirit where you will discover more of your hidden life and the urgencies that deserve to claim you. May you travel in an awakened way, gathered wisely in your inner ground, that you may not waste the invitations which wait along the way to transform you. May you travel safely, arrive refreshed, and live your time away to its fullest. Return home more enriched and free to balance the gift of days which call you. May this blessing be with you as you prepare to embark on the journey of what comes next for you in your life. May it be so. I now invite Deb McCrae and Carrie Schmidt to offer a blessing as parents of our graduating seniors.
Beloved Bridgers, today we honor you and the many challenges and accomplishments that have brought you to this moment.
This year has not been easy, yet you have navigated the days with grace and determination.
We thank you for the opportunity to nurture you during your growing up years.
As you cross the bridge from childhood to young adult, we pledge to surround you now and always with our love and support.
Know that you will always have our blessings and our love.
Know that you will always have our love and our blessings.
For all of you participating in this service, no matter where or when you are, I invite you to join me in taking a deep breath. Continue to breathe, and as you breathe, imagine the connection that binds us together as a whole. Like someone said just this last week in coffee hour, like the intersecting fibers of woven fabric, distinct yet somehow enmeshed and connected. Just breathe and imagine that connection. As we spend time contemplating this connection, this spiritual thread that binds us together, imagine that along these threads and filaments, you are sending warm, loving light, warm, loving thoughts to both Miranda and Max. Let these spiritual threads connect us through time and space. Connect us and carry our thoughts and blessings to these graduates. And as we join in sending our love to our graduating seniors, I want to invite all of you viewing this service, to repeat these words of blessing after me. So I'll say a word and pause for you at home to repeat it. May you explore widely. May you be guided by curiosity, compassion, and a sense of justice. May you nurture a learning spirit. May you ask for help when you need it. May you open yourself to abundant love. And may you give freely to those around you. And may you always remember the way home. Amen.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Our service has ended, but our service to the world and one another begins anew. May we go forth, having stopped to contemplate these moments in life, these threshold moments, finding our relationship as each of us navigates the change that life brings. And congratulations to our graduates. Amen.